Yes, my viewers and subscribers, welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Tonight, I am going to continue exploring this murder cover-up of Melissa Silvera, the wife of former PNP Member of Parliament Jolan Silvera. Guys, you see the word we here? We're going to explore that word we. We want to know who we are. And we want to know if the we means the doctors within the Rise movement campaign at the PNP. Were they the ones who were called to Melissa's murder scene and gave the diagnosis of an aneurysm after they were told that she died in her sleep? Are the doctors in the PNP involved in this murder cover-up? We're going to look at it right now. Guys, remember, say she's not a doctor, you know. She is not a doctor. She's not a pathologist. So when she made the statement, we thought that because it was a little bit of blood, it was an aneurysm. If Melissa Silvera's doctor was called by the husband to the scene or over the phone, that doctor would not have discussed anything with this girl here, because doctor-patient privacy, and the husband would have ensured say him wife privacy was protected. When she said we thought that it was an aneurysm because her nose bleeding, this sound to me like say the husband or somebody who was there with Melissa when she died, they were seeking medical advice as to what caused Melissa's death, or what story they should give that caused Melissa's death. So no doctor in a Jamaica who you would have called a professional would have had that discussion with this blogger here, because she's not qualified to be a doctor. So now I ask the question, is it that the husband called up some doctor in the PNP and explained to them, listen, I found Melissa unresponsive. What happened? Well, you know, she have a little bit of blood on her nose. She was sleeping. Well, that kind of sound like an aneurysm, you know. Because let's face it, no sensible doctor, no doctor in Jamaica would have had that conversation with this blogger who said, we thought. She sound like she was a part of the whole decision making of what story would be told to the public. How many of you here believe that if Melissa's doctor was called to the scene of her death, that doctor would have had a conversation with the blogger to tell her what she or he thought caused Melissa's death? That would not happen. So the question remains, which doctor in the PNP did the husband or whosoever was there on the scene? And it would have had to be the husband who would have called the doctors within the PNP to ask them the question. Yes, because he's a part of the PNP, he's a member of the PNP. He knows the leader well, very well. He knows the Dayton Campbell General Secretary. He knows them well. They are part of the Rise United movement camp. How did the blogger become a part of the conversation? How did this become we thought? We, who? We would have had to involve the husband. Yes, because she cannot be a part of this unless the husband is a part of it and invite her to be a part of it. And we would have had to be somebody with some kind of medical knowledge. I can't she alone the husband call to come say what happened to the dead lady. So which doctor in the PNP? Because remember, you know, there was a leak where Dayton Campbell, Dr. Dayton Campbell, was in a leak talking about PG when PG had an accident in his driveway. And Dayton Campbell started making this diagnosis on PG. Oh, it sounds like something malignant. Some malignancy. He was insinuating that PJ had cancer. Maybe cancer of the bone. And that's very unethical for a doctor to do, because if you don't see a patient, you can't be assuming a diagnosis. You can't be guessing a diagnosis, especially in a group of people. So we know that Dayton Campbell don't have no medical integrity. That's why we're asking the question, was Dayton Campbell a part of the decision making as to what killed Melissa before the autopsy told us that she was murdered?
Very unfortunate, man. But I have to ask the question, maybe it's the medic in me. But is it that the former leader has some other form of ailment? Like a non-benign lesion or something that spread to the bone? Because I know where he lives. It seems odd that an accident in the yard would have been at a velocity that would cause a hip fracture. If a bone is not already weakened. Sound more like a pathological fracture, man. That I don't know what kind of speed he could have generated in that yard to fracture his leg, whichever one of the bones in his leg, along with his hip. That seems, seems a little bit much for just something in the yard.
2019, PJ Patterson had an accident in his driveway and he had a fracture, right? It is not unusual for elderly people, 80-year-old people, to have these accidents. Remember, from people reach 80, them barely a drive car, right? So it is not unusual for an older man like PJ to have an accident in his driveway. His bones are not as strong as before. So any little thing could have caused a fracture. So when Dayton Campbell now, as a medical doctor, get in a WhatsApp group and he's telling people, say, it's more than what the man said it is. Insinuating, using the term non-benign. Benign means not cancerous. And if he says non-benign and spreading and all these things, he is assuming and insinuating that the man has a malignancy, which is cancerous. Very unethical. PJ Patterson has since recovered, gone through physical therapy, and is walking around doing his thing, right? Since 2019. So I wouldn't be surprised if my question asks whether the Silvera husband called up some doctor in the PNP asking them, listen, she have a little bit of blood, or nose, we want to think. That blogger was on the phone or on the scene when that question was asked. And it could not be asked of no doctor in Jamaica. It's only an unethical one, perhaps in the PNP, that this question could have been posed to. And they start throwing out these different medical terminologies without proper examination of the body and of the person. This is serious, guys. This is very serious. So when this blogger and friend of Joel and Silvera come let go her mouth, thinking that she's protecting him, what she did was more incriminate him, raise more suspicion, and tell us, basically cement the idea that it's a cover-up involving the husband and people, members of the PNP. That is what she did. Yes, incriminated him and got us more suspicious and be more convicted in the belief that is a murder cover-up. If I were the police, I would be interviewing these doctors in the PNP. Yes, I would. Because somebody gave this aneurysm diagnosis and that person clearly did not see Melissa enough to examine her to see the gunshot wounds. Guys, keep it locked here to Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Keep sharing, subscribe, and put on your notification, because we're not going to stop talking about this until the police and the authorities arrest somebody and charge somebody for the murder of this woman. It is full time for the powers that be in Jamaica. Stop covering up for the politically connected in this country. The man dead in the Prime Minister lawyer house murdered. No arrest, no charge. Is it the same thing that is going to happen now with Jalan Silvera? Wife murdered in him house. Him come tell the public one story when they check it out a murder? No, she need justice. Keep it locked here, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.